Hey sweetie, how are you doing today? Yeah, you're doing okay. So thank you so much for having me in your house. I'm usually in the office, so it's really nice for me to get out and about, particularly when the weather's really nice. So thank you for inviting me here. Now, I just want to double check that we have the right dress first of all, and then once we do, what I suggest we use today's session for is just to make any final adjustments, and I also have a few ideas in regards to design if there's anything extra that you wanted on this dress. So I have brought with me a lot of accessories and a lot of different things to try today, but let's just start with trying the dress on and just confirming that it is this choice. Okay, so is this the one? Yeah, okay, good. So I have done some alterations since we last spoke, okay? I have taken it in a little bit at the waist, and then I've also added some ruffles on the hip area as well, because I know we said that would probably just be a little bit more flattering and it would just shape you a little bit more sort of around there. Yeah, okay. So what I will have you do is go ahead and try this on. I will take some more measurements and then we will just finalize a few details as well, if that's okay. Yeah, all right, sweetie. So I'll give you that to try and then I will just pop out of the room. You just let me know when you're ready, okay? Okay, you're all done? Yeah, good. Okay, let me have a look. Oh yeah, this looks beautiful. Okay, just gonna adjust that a little bit on the sides for you there. Okay. Now, how does it feel around the waist? Is it a little bit too... No, it doesn't feel restrictive and you can still walk around. Have you just walked? Yeah, so just get a feel for things. Just kind of move around a little bit just to make sure that it's not too restrictive there. Okay. No, it feels okay. Yeah, you're sure? Okay. And then what are we thinking about the ruffles on the hips that we added? Yeah, you really like that, yeah. I think it just makes the frame look a little bit more flattering. And then at the back, I've sort of just ruffled it a little bit more as well, so that it kind of joins nicely at the back. Okay. All right, what I can instantly tell though is we do need to make some adjustments in the chest, okay? So let me just pin that there for you. How does it feel around the chest? Yeah, a little bit too revealing, completely. I do think that we need to add a little bit of material just at the top there, okay? Yeah, so let me just pin that there for a second. And then at the back. Okay. Now, can you just lift your arms up for me like that? Thank you. Just gonna pin that there. Yeah, just keep your arms up. Thank you. And then you can pop them down for me. Thanks. Okay. Now, what are we thinking about the length? Possibly a little bit shorter. Okay, yeah, so let me just take that up a little bit there and there. Now, what it's really important to do though is as we're shortening it, I want you to really try and just move your legs around. Maybe just walk back and forth. It just enables us to see what it actually is going to look like when you're walking around, okay? All right. So let's take a look at that length. I'm just gonna fold it a little bit actually, like that. So what do you think to that length? Yeah, and it's not rising up as you're walking? No? Okay, good. All right, now let me just take the measurements for that then. Yeah, so you can just stay as you are, that's okay. And yeah. So we're probably just raising it by about 2 inches. Yeah. I did think that we would have to just shorten it a little bit. Yeah, because I did go a little bit longer initially just to give us that little bit to play with. Yeah, and if you can just step forward ever so slightly just so I can kind of see. There we go, thank you. And then just measure around like that. There we go. Okay, let me just measure the back as well. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now, what do we think about the waist? Because I can take us in a little bit more if you wanted to. I definitely think there is a little bit of room there, but that won't allow us much wiggle room in the sense of maybe on the day if we're feeling a little bit bloated or if we're feeling just not too great. Yeah, just keep it as it is. Exactly, yeah, I think that's what we should do. Sometimes it is best to just leave the tiniest amount of space there. Okay. Now, in regards to the chest area, what we can do is I can use exactly the same material just to raise it up a little bit, or we can experiment with some different material if you wanted to. We could also experiment with some different colors if you're open to that. Yeah, you're not too sure. Let me show you some ideas in this video, okay? So, bearing in mind it is a Christmas theme, so I don't really want to take us too much out of the color palette, but we could add a little bit of this just to the top there. And what I could actually do is make it into more of a sweetheart fit. So I could just sew it down a little bit so you'd almost have like a love heart shape design just kind of popping outside of the dress. Yeah, so I could do the back as well, absolutely. So I would take it round and then just do a little bit of material poking at the back as well. And again, I could make it into a little bit of a sort of love heart design. Yeah, okay. So let's not make any decisions just yet, but you're thinking the black. Yeah, okay. I do think black and red really work well together. I do have, let me just show you this actually. So what I could actually do is we could get a little bit of material similar to this. So this kind of like lacy sheer type material. And I'll just take it off the hanger so you can actually see what it would look like. So I would almost, we have to just be a little bit imaginative here, but I could almost put a really thin layer of that, again, just poking out of the top. Okay, so of course I could do it to the back as well. But let me just show you so you can see. So can you just see that little bit of white lace kind of just popping out? Just really works. It looks so good against the red, doesn't it? Exactly. So this is a color that I tend to mix a lot more with that red. Yeah, okay. We could, yeah. So if you wanted this, but you wanted it in black, absolutely, we could do that. Yeah, so it would just be a little bit of a trim like this, but it would be black. Yeah, you're thinking that probably more so than the white. Okay. Now, we could also do a splash of pink, and I could actually do this so there's only smothering of material popping up. So something like that. Yeah, you like it, but you're not as keen on the color. That's absolutely fine. Okay. I did. What about something like this? So we could pop a little bit of a kind of a pinky red. So what I could do is, again, just a very small amount, but just a little bit kind of popping out of the dress, just sort of there. Yeah, it does. So I would say this is probably more of a cuter design where your dress is a little bit more kind of glamorous. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll pop that over there. That's a definite no. What I also have, actually, if you liked the lace, is I could add a little bit of material like this, and again I could do it in black. So yeah, so we'd kind of just do something similar like that, but again that would be black. No, your mind is constantly going back to the ribbon. Okay, so this one that we showed you initially, yeah, and in the sweetheart design. Okay, absolutely. So we can definitely do that for you. Now, what are you thinking in terms of adding any beads, any accessories, any jewels? Yeah, you're open to maybe trying a few. Okay. So let me just see what I think would work. Well, I'm just going to adjust that pin there just to make sure we're getting a really accurate view of the dress. Okay. So let me see. I wouldn't necessarily want to add anything extra around the waist area because I think we've cinched it in quite well. I think it kind of speaks for itself. We don't need to add any accessories or any extra pieces there, okay? Let me think of what I've brought. We could add a little bit of this, so I do have lots of things similar to this if you did want something. As I said, I wouldn't necessarily add it around the waist, but what we could do is, particularly with these bits, we could actually add it along the bust line. So I could put it sort of there, just like that, and just kind of have that on the very lining. So as I said, it would have the black sweetheart design, and then you would just kind of have this almost attached to it as well. Yeah, so there is the potential that it could look a little bit too much, absolutely. What I would suggest we do to avoid that is just go with very small jewels. So we wouldn't go for these sort of big ones there. We'd just go for little ones, and we'd just sort of dot them around like that. And you would almost just have a little bit, yeah, so just a little bit popping out. You wouldn't see very many of them at all, so it wouldn't be kind of too much at the top there, I don't think. Okay, so that was just an idea, so let's just bear that in mind. What I also have, which is kind of along that theme, what we could also do is, now this is one of my favorites, and I do typically add this around the waist because I do think it's quite a nice fit there. However, what we could do is we could go for something very similar to this, but just a little bit thinner, and I could again do the sweetheart design there. Or if you wanted me to try, I could try it around the waist. I do think, as I said, we've already got a lot going on around there. I think we don't need to necessarily add anything else, but we could just try it and see what it looks like. Yeah, you're open to it. Okay. So let me just unclip this and try it around. I, of course, will fit it exactly to your waist size if we go ahead with the design, but it just gives us an idea as to what it's going to look like. Okay, what do we think? Yeah, exactly. So just move around a little bit, see how you feel. Let me just adjust that a little bit at the back. It's just got a little bit twisted, hasn't it? There we go. Yeah, maybe a little bit too much going on, isn't it? Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little bit, I mean, as I said, we could go a little bit thinner so it wouldn't necessarily look as eye-catching, but I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a little bit too distracting, isn't it? Yeah. No, that's a no. That's absolutely okay. Let me just take that off. Okay. A bit more subtle. We could go for something like this. I can do these in lots of different colors, okay, so don't let this color put you off. But what I like to do with these is we can kind of just drape it around the dress. So it doesn't necessarily have to fit really kind of solid or fitted. It can just sort of drape around. Let me show you. It is. So we can do this in black. We can do it in for the sweetheart black ribbon. Then I probably would say that we go for that in black. Maybe add a little bit of a red jewel to it. Yeah, okay. You're really liking this one. Good. Okay. Let me just adjust slightly around the back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, it looks beautiful, just kind of casually hanging, doesn't it? Rather than having it really fitted, I think the style just looks so good when it's just kind of almost like a body chain. It just sort of hangs really beautifully. Yeah, okay. So we're definitely going with that. Now, what I can do, so you can see here with this, we've got the black in between. Do you want me to do those red? So we could do the whole chain black, but these little bits there, I could do the same color red as your dress. Yeah? Okay, yeah, we can try it. There's no pressure, so I can try it. If you're not too keen, we can try one in black as well. Yeah, there's no pressure at all, sweetie. Don't worry at all. There's nothing that can't be readjusted or changed or amended, so don't worry. Okay. Now, let's see. Let me just go back and measure the waist because I want to make sure that I'm getting that so it fits perfectly. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. Now. Okay. So I am going to throw a little bit of a wild card here, okay? And we don't have to go with it. As I said, there's always time to try. We can change things. We don't need to just keep with one particular design. But I do have some jewels that we could actually attach to the dress as well. Okay, so let me show you those. So what I want you to just try and imagine is these, but in a smaller size, okay? Because I only have the large ones with me today. But I do have these little jewels that what we could do is just sort of attach them around the sides. So let me just get a few to kind of give you the idea. So what I would do is just sort of attach them to the sides. And what would happen is you'd have this little line of jewels along the side, which I think would look really nice. Like that. And then if you can just lift your arm up again, thank you. And I would just take them up, just right up to there as well, like that. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah? Absolutely. So we can do them black, we could do them red. Yeah, you were thinking in black. Okay. Definitely. So let's see. Now, I can of course do little jewels, or we can do little buttons. I don't know. No, keep with the jewels. Yeah, okay. I do agree. I feel like the jewels would look a little bit more glamorous. Like that. And like that. So I'd probably say we would do about 6 on either side. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Now, what are your thoughts on adding some sort of accessory to your neck area? Yeah, you hadn't thought about it. Okay. So let me just show you what I was thinking of with my book, because I do find a lot of people actually opt to do this because it can add a little bit of an accessory without needing to wear jewelry. Okay. So, okay. All right. So, this is something I had in mind. So what I was thinking with this particular dress is we do something similar to this, but just thinner in nature, so not as kind of bulky at the front. Yeah, so we could do black, we could do red. I could do a little bit of a darker shade of red as well, just to kind of balance everything up a little bit. Yeah, you like this one. You also kind of like that one as well. Okay, so that's more of a kind of rope design. Yeah, you're kind of in between those two. Okay, well, let's give them a go. So, what I will have you do is just stay as still as possible. And I'm just going to tie this in that design. Okay. And then what I can do is just kind of do another one at the back, so you have a little bit of a tie at the back as well. So what do you think about that? Yeah, okay. So yeah, we can do that black and red. I could actually add a little bit of black and a little bit of red, in there, just to try and pop it a little bit more. Yeah, okay. Well, I definitely think this is coming together as nice. So I definitely have enough to be working on, okay? What I will have you do is come back into the office in probably around a week's time, and we will try the new version of the dress on, and if there's anything you're not too keen, we can absolutely change it. There's lots of time to make adjustments, okay? All right, sweetie. Just take that from you. And I will help you take this off because it is going to be a little bit tricky, isn't it, with the jewels? But we'll take that off and then I'll write all of this down. And as I said, I'll bring you back in, okay? All right.